People think ADHD is about being distracted. It's not. The real pain is this. You go through an entire day. It's like you've run a marathon without taking a single step forward. Your brain never shuts up, but your life never adds up. That's the version of ADHD nobody talks about. And today, I want to go into the symptoms with you. Let's start with attention. It's not about being unable to focus. It's about your brain hijacking where focus goes. Sure, sometimes you get hyper-focus, hours vanishing into games, TikToks, or a passion project. But other times, focus betrays you where there is low motivation or low interest with other tasks or areas of your life. You open an email and end up reliving every failure you've ever had. You sit to write a report and your brain whispers, "You'll never finish. Why try?" This is what most people don't realize. ADHD attention doesn't just wander, it drags you into loops of pain. That's why so many say, "I'm exhausted from doing nothing," but usually nothing gets done. This isn't laziness, it's a brain wired to chase interest, novelty, or urgency. Without those, there is no focus. This can lead to self-guilt and chronic procrastination. Now, impulsivity. Most people think it's blurting things out or making random decisions. But here's the painful truth. Impulsivity is your emotions being broadcast on loudspeaker before you've even had time to process them. You interrupt in conversations, not to be rude, but because the thought is screaming to get out. You spend money you don't have. Not because you don't care, but because for a split second, that purchase feels like oxygen. You explode in anger, and seconds later feel the crushing guilt of, "Why did I just do that?" That's impulsivity, feelings firing faster than your brain can process. And here's the new layer most people never talk about. Impulsivity creates a feedback loop of shame and guilt. Every slip reinforces this statements, "I can't trust myself. I cannot seem to control myself." That label reinforcement is more damaging than the impulse itself. ADHD isn't just about acting quickly without an aim or direction. It's about living inside a cycle where every mistake feels like proof that you're broken. The inner belief that you can't be trusted with your own life. Hyperactivity. In adults, hyperactivity doesn't look like a kid running in circles. It's disguised, and it hurts more because you still have to look like you're functioning, even when you're falling apart inside. It shows up as the leg bouncing under the desk, the nails chewed down, the words spilling out too fast because you're afraid they'll vanish if you wait. Hyperactivity isn't extra energy, it's a body that never feels safe in stillness. That's why silence feels unbearable. That's why boredom feels like suffocation. In the book Scattered Minds, Gabor Mate calls it a perpetual motion machine, a mind that never quiets down, just static running in the background. On the outside, people see chatty, fidgety, annoying. On the inside, it's torture, and the damage doesn't stop with you. Restlessness burns relationships. Partners feel talked over. Friends think you don't care. Co-workers read arrogance where there's only overload. It leaves you misunderstood by everyone. including yourself, a jumbled up mind that won't stay still, and a world that mistakes your symptoms for who you are. So what do these three patterns add up to? They create a hidden cost that most people with ADHD carry but never name. It's the cost of being a person of permanent potential, full of ideas, bursts of energy, enthusiasm, but looking back and seeing half-finished courses, abandoned jobs, broken relationships, you might get called lazy, careless, or selfish, when the truth is your brain is dragging around old wounds, childhood moments of being left alone, watching parents fall apart, feeling unsafe. Those memories sit in the background and shape how you live now, even if you don't realize it. It's guilt, shame, and exhaustion layered on top of an already noisy mind. That's ADHD at its core, not just distraction, but a life story full of unfinished chapters. So what does all this mean when you're an adult with ADHD, still stuck in these patterns? It means you can't just willpower yourself into control. Every time you've tried, it's failed. Not because you're weak, but because control has always been the wrong tool. As kids, many of us lived under pressure, parents, teachers, authority figures trying to force us into line. That created counterwill, the automatic reflex to push back against being told what to do. The more control pushed down on you, the more resistance rose up in you. Fast forward to adulthood, and that same reflex still fires. A boss sets a deadline, a partner asks for help, even you telling yourself, "I need to focus," and your brain instantly resists. That's counterwill. It's not rebellion. It's not immaturity. It's an emotional distress from your upbringing. So how do you live with it now? Not by control, by building conditions where resistance isn't constantly triggered. Here are the shifts that matter most. 1. Self-love first, rules second. People are less oppositional when they feel connected, respected, understood. Whether it's with your partner, your kids, or yourself, connection lowers resistance. If you treat yourself like a drill sergeant, expect rebellion. If you treat yourself with some curiosity, you'll move further. 2. Don't mistake compliance for growth. Some of us learn to shut up and obey, but that isn't healing, it's just burying resistance. It always comes back later, harder. Real progress isn't about white-knuckling through tasks. It's about understanding why you resist and finding ways to meet that need without blowing up your life. 3. Stop taking resistance personally. When you snap at yourself, "Why can't I just do this simple thing? Am I dumb? Why can't I finish any project?" You're treating your own counterwill like an enemy. It isn't personal, it's automatic. Instead of going to war with yourself, notice it, name it, and let it pass. 4. Choose your battles. Not every fight is worth it. You don't have to win against every quirk of your ADHD. Decide what actually matters. Protect energy for the fights that count. Self-love, improving your social skills. Have a better relationship with your family, friends, or partner. 5. Give resistance a lane. If you bottle it up, it leaks out sideways. Find safe ways to voice it. Journal. Say out loud, "I don't want to do this right now." Even that small act stops resistance from festering underground. 6. Repair when you mess up. You will lose it sometimes, with yourself, with others. The difference is whether you patch things up, acknowledge I blew up, that's on me, let's reset. Relationships that can survive ADHD are the ones where repair happens, not the ones where nobody ever snaps. 7. Build self-discipline, not self-control. Control is about force. Discipline is about design. Create systems that work with your wiring. Deadlines, accountability partners, physical cues. Stop trying to dominate your brain. Instead, set up the meadow, not the fence. As Suzuki Roshi said, give the sheep space and they'll stay where they need to. Give yourself space and you'll actually move forward.